Hey, no longer intros. I'll just start.
How much I'm earning with my phone farm. So I've set up 10 phones using the Acrist Core processor, and I have 2 or 3 phones using the Lite processor app that takes just 1 minute to set up. So let me show you more about it. So just a few days ago when I recorded this, I had earned 2,300 tokens. Now after just a few days of running that phone farm, I have 2,800 tokens. And what this basically is that we're providing computing power to a decentralized network that can be used for blockchains, applications, running a bunch of stuff online. So it's sort of like providing power to the digital infrastructure with our phones, and we get rewarded for it. And in this new video that I'm just gonna post in just 1 minute, I will showing you a step-by-step. So I'm gonna leave a direct pathway to this in my list where you can find it.
The most powerful bodyguard beside Putin is actually himself. Over 20 years ago, Putin was just a bodyguard accompanying a leader. Back then, none of the high-ranking figures who were chatting and laughing with him imagined that the bodyguard following them would one day become the iron-fisted figure who would dominate Russia. In fact, aside from being a bodyguard, Putin had done quite a few extraordinary jobs. He was once a KGB agent and even worked as a spy in Germany. These unique experiences have added a lot of personal charm to Putin. For example, in 2000, when Putin visited the military, he piloted a Su-27 fighter jet himself and flew into enemy territory to boost morale. In 2005, he piloted a bomber and flew over 1,000 miles, during which he launched 2 cruise missiles. In 2009, Putin dived in a submarine to 4,500 feet below the surface of Lake Baikal to explore new energy sources like flammable ice. On top of being an 8th Dan black belt in judo, he can ride horses, and he can also archery and rock climbing and handle various other skills. Putin has undoubtedly become the all-around president in the eyes of the people.
Chicken is not a chicken anymore. It is now a Frankenstein that has completely changed. A couple generations ago, a chicken used to be a kilo. They've now gone up to 4 kilos. So they've quadrupled in size. They have not genetically changed. We have changed them. A chicken, which used to be an organic, high-quality source of protein, now is full of something called linoleic acid, which is an omega-6, which will make you sick. We're seeing this direct line between this massive increase in industrial poultry and people getting chronic diseases that are inflammatory based. Go to a regenerative pasture-raised organic chicken farm and see how small that animal is and see how gamey it tastes. It is not the same thing, right? That's what it was supposed to be. That's what it used to be. We've changed it. Food production is about 3 things. How do I make it cheaper? How do I increase the shelf life? And how do I make it addictive? That's what food processing is about. It's not about how do I make it healthy for you.
Crazy.
I want to start off by saying to you that I'm still growing, and that the teachings that I've shared in times past on the subject of tithing were not correct. And today I stand in humility to correct some things that I've taught for years and believed for years, but could never understand it clearly because I had not yet been confronted with the gospel of grace, which has made the difference. But I will say that I have no shame at all at saying to you, throw away every book, every tape, and every video I ever did on the subject of tithing, unless it lines up with this. Why is this important? Because religion is sustained by 2 factors: fear and guilt. And if it's one subject that the church has used for a long time to keep people in fear and guilt, it is in that subject of tithing. And
Do you know what state New York City is in?
Manhattan.
Yes, good. How many states are there total?
How many states in total? 25.
Yes, good. You're killing it. You're killing it.
Obviously don't go to school, so.
Do you know who the current vice president is?
The current?
Yeah.
Like the vice president before?
No, the one that's right now.
And it's Joe Biden?
Yes. What's the biggest state?
I want to say Idaho.
Yes. How many hours are in 3 days?
Hold on.
Around how many? Give me a number.
92.
Yes. All right, how many months in 2 years?
And it's 12?
Do you know what the capital of the USA is?
When a woman is pregnant with 2 babies, they are called twins. When a woman is pregnant with 3 babies, they are called blank. 3 babies, triceps. What animal is considered a man's best friend? Crocodile. If you enjoy spending time alone, what type of person are you?
Inverter.
What is the first sense a baby develops?
Sense of humor.
See China failing. If you see China failing, it's around 13-14% of the world GDP, and it's around 15 to 20% of the world population. If that country falls, everyone on the planet falls, even America.
I'm finna give you 8 facts about the T-Rex that proved he had to go. He was like King Von and nature had to get him up out of here. It had padded feet, so it did not matter how big it was. If it was hunting you, it was silent. They had better eyesight than eagles, and y'all know eagles can see for miles. It was the largest land carnivore ever. That means it was eating meat, bro, Paul. Had an extremely high IQ. I heard some people say it was like as smart as a bamboo, and I heard someone say he has an IQ of 140. That's more than me. There's a high chance they hunted in groups, so just imagine like 10 of these just trying to hunt you down, bro. They had such a good scent. It was like 100 bloodhounds, so you was not escaping him. He could smell you for miles. They had the strongest bite force of any animal alive, bro. That is crazy. They could run up to 37 miles per hour, and that does not seem that fast, but all that means is it's going to catch you every time. And I'm going to give you an extra 2 more. 1, they were most likely cannibals and were eating each other. And 2, a new study showed that T-Rexes are probably 70% bigger than we thought.
Now, a lot of people, which gets really weird, when you see like celebrities of 2025, they look like people of the past. And they showed this even with Alex Jones. It was like a new Alex Jones and then the old Alex Jones.
Nicolas Cage. There's quite a few Nicolas Cage doppelgangers.
Yes. So all of these different people, they look like they have clones. So it makes you wonder. But what I did find, which was interesting with the cloning, when a egg is at a certain point, it can be split and then it can produce a twin. And so then I started thinking, well, we think of clones because that's what we're taught, you know, like the whole thing what they talk about. But then I started to think about, what about twins? What about when you have like, I don't know, triplets or something like that? And that was the only information I could find on potential cloning, and that the people are being cloned or whatever it is and then multiplying XYZ out. But I couldn't find much because when I started going into the DNA and the gene and that whole thing, because that's the PCR test, then nothing added up. So it's one that we should ask questions about of why children are on display at a marketplace, like almost for sale for people, and then at these world fairs, they're on display too. Like, nobody puts children on display to show them unless it's a marketplace for something like that.
There's a popular phrase, kill them with kindness. That's what the world told you. But spiritually, that's not wisdom. That's self-destruction. And you're not killing them with kindness, you're killing yourself with the fear of being rude. You're overextended. You over-apologize. You overgive. You stay too long. You tolerate what God told you to leave, and all because you're afraid of being misunderstood, judged, or labeled as unkind. But here's the truth. Kindness without purpose is not obedience. It's self-betrayal, and many people are here. You're not called to be kind to everyone. You're called to be kind to the people assigned to your purpose. Kind is not random. Kindness is targeted. It's strategic. It's spiritual. Jesus wasn't kind to everybody. He flipped tables when people violated purpose. He rebuked Peter when Peter tried to pull him off assignment. He walked away from entire crowds without explaining himself, because kindness isn't about people pleasing. It's about alignment. And here's the reality. If you keep giving kindness to the wrong people, you'll have nothing left for the ones you're actually called to help, heal, lead, and serve. So what's next? You need to enroll in the Spiritually Disciplined Leader. It's a mini course that I've designed to help you build the spiritual structure that you need to learn how to discern where kindness is an assignment and where it's just emotional slavery. So tap the link in my bio to start today. And email me if you're tired of bleeding energy into places where God never sent you. You're not called to be nice. You're called to be strategic, and it's time to start moving like it. Now, if you didn't know, now you know.
So would you like to try out our new fragrance? It's called Le Shit.
Yeah.
You like it? It's from Italy.
No.
We just imported it last night.
Oh, no.
You want it to go? You want a spray to go?
Quick question. So, last night, I know you told me you was out with your girls or whatever. Where did y'all go necessarily? Like, where did y'all go?
We went to Pierre's.
Pierre's?
The lounge.
You know what's crazy? I was there yesterday.
Where?
I pulled up yesterday just to see if you was there. And
Pierre's?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I ain't see you or your car.
Okay, we Ubered.
So where y'all Uber from? Because you left my house with your car.
I went to Ashley's house and then I Ubered.
From Ashley's house?
To Pierre's, yeah. We split an Uber. See the freaking, I can ask her for the Uber charge.
So, why I feel like I seen your car at like 3-something in the morning outside of your baby dad crib when I drove by looking for you at Pierre?
Boy, nah, you know you lying. You didn't see that shit.
So I didn't see that?
No.
I got this video on my phone. Well, a picture on my phone. If you want to see it, you could. It's right there as soon as you unlock it. So that's not your car?
Boy, no.
Why
are you driving by?
That's not your license plates.
In the first place.
You know what's crazy? Bro, I'm not going there just to go there. That's my way to get to the Pierre that you were at. And I, just drove past his house.
And you were just lurking outside of his house?
No.
At your big age, you're lurking outside of another grown man's house?
I wasn't lurking.
What were you doing?
I drove past I drove past and seen the car that I bought you and the license plate that I put on your car.
First of all, I didn't know that you giving me gifts means that I have to abide by your rules. Like, when was that established?
All right, long story short, I'm not even going to try to beat him on the bush.
Please.
Was you at your baby dad's house last night or what? You lying to me?
I stopped there for a second, but then I went to Ashley's house and then we went to Pierre's.
No. You didn't come back home last night. And you said you were staying at Ashley's house.
I did.
No, you were not. Because guess what? I asked Ashley's little brother, was you there? You thought I was dumb?
Bro,
now you thought I was dumb?
You stalker?
No, I'm not no stalker.
Are you sitting here
You're just a liar and your friends gonna lie for you.
Okay.
What you was doing at his house at 3 a.m?
I was checking on something for Kayvon.
For what? Your son was good. He was good.
You always
he was good. You always claiming
about what I'm doing when checking on my son.
3 a.m. though. You know what's crazy, bro? I'm not dumb.
He did his asthma pump.
Since when he had asthma? You ain't never tell me this.
Boy, that's exactly. Stay out of the parents' business.
But I think this is normal for you to expect this, right? When you are dating somebody who has a baby daddy, you don't expect the girl to be faithful to you every time. All you have to know is, one way or the other, something that she has done before, she's going to do it again. So, I mean, yeah, that's just it. You are supposed to know before you got yourself involved with this relationship. Let's get back.
So,
He's been had
you
since
didn't stay the night at his crib yesterday?
No, I stayed the night at Ashley's. Call her mom.
Lie again.
Well, I don't have nothing to lie about.
No funny, lie again.
But I'm not gonna lie, you moving like an insecure ass. Yeah, that's starting to be real.
Yo, look me in my face and tell me that I'm dumb.
You're dumb.
So you didn't go to his house and stay the night at his house?
No, you're dumb because you're being sneaky about it. You could have just asked me from the get-go.
I'm being sneaky about it? You just clearly lied about the situation.
I did.
Right.
I had to spend the night because then Ashley's car broke down.
Ashley's car broke down.
Bro, you don't even, that's what I'm talking about. So don't ask me for my side if you don't even want to hear me out.
Talk. I want you to make yourself look even more stupid. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm not gonna say nothing.
No, talk. Talk, because you just lied straight to my face.
I didn't lie.
And say
if you hear me, I keep telling you, I stopped by for something for Kayvon, and then I went to Ashley's house, and then we went to Pierre's, and then he said he needed something else. Why the fuck are you looking at me like that?
You know what's crazy? You sitting here lying in my face, and I'm gonna let you keep talking. Because you know what?
I can literally call him right now. I'll call Kayvon right now.
You're gonna call your son for what?
He said he needed. Okay, so I'm coming back from the club, right? And
Bro, I don't want to hear it. It's cool.
I'm trying to tell you.
No. It's cool. You said enough. Look, we're gonna cut ties here. You can go stay the night at your baby dad's house.
On the couch.
Look, I'm gonna go get your stuff. I don't care. I'm gonna go get your stuff and you can get out my house.
For what?
Simple.
You stay kicking me out. That's exactly what the fuck I'm talking about.
Okay.
That's weird.
Okay,
That's
bye.
weird.
You can go with your son.
Listen, man, this is not a joke. They're really trying to trap you here in this country. Now look, the theory is, see these tariffs is gonna cause a lot of stuff to get expensive, which means your everyday needs or whatever is gonna cost a lot of money and it's gonna drain your pocket. They want you stuck here in America for a catastrophe that's about to happen. Like this whole country is a trap, man. You don't see it right now, but you'll see it. I mean, starting with the wall that they're building, that's not to keep people out, it's to keep people in. The bridges that it went down, the exposure of all these planes, having problems, which making people fearful to fly. The Star ID thing that they're going to require people to get on their ID. Do you not see what's going on? People, you got to open up your eyes, man. I mean, don't y'all remember if you ever seen the movie Leave the World Behind, when those Tesla cars all piled up to trap people? See, look, I'm doing me a favor by telling y'all and not gatekeeping this information that can help and save a lot of lives. Because they're not going to get on the news and tell you this stuff. They're not going to, you need people like me and a lot of other people that's getting on here warning you stuff that's coming. And I'm about to tell you what's coming in the part 2.
So Trump came out a few hours ago and said that Americans are going to suffer financially for the next 2 years as his tariff strategy takes place. That means millions of Americans are going to lose their jobs. They're going to lose their homes. Poverty rate is going to go crazy.
ਹੁਣ पे वरना जले भूसी मैं कोई रहा तो पहले तुम आना भूसी कोई बड़ी दे योगी नहीं
Episode 10, China's Drone Armada. China has over 50 drone types in development and over 1 million kamikaze drones in production and even hypersonic drones. They have a hypersonic drone that can hit Mach 3 at over 100,000 feet, and they also have a stealth attack drone. They've made drone armies 10 times cheaper. They have combat drones that run 1 to 2 million apiece compared to 15 million for an American model. Another crazy thing is they can control 10,000 drones with one computer. This is a drone show where they broke the record with the most drones at once. Their drone shows are insane. Here's another one with a dragon above the city. They also have drones that deliver food for you. So how are they so far ahead? Well, the crazy thing is most of the drone components were invented in the United States, Japan, and Europe, but now they're almost all made in China. China became the country that could just build drones fast, and they scaled them, and now they control most of the drone supply chain. The Chinese drone company DJI is the world's largest drone manufacturer. They actually make over half the drones sold in the world. In 2013, DJI released the Phantom drone, and it was basically drone's iPhone moment. And since then, they've dominated, and it's really hard to beat them for the price. And mass drone manufacturing is going to become critical since the future of military is likely drone-on-drone warfare. And China is positioned pretty well for it. You probably don't want to see a Chinese drone swarm coming to your country in 2035.
I saw a statistic that doctors and nurses lead that community of people who cheat on their partner the most.
Oh no, for sure. Flight attendants too, for sure. Hey, listen, let me tell you something. When I was a nurse, I was single at the time. Slanging. What? Whole hospital. You know the slickest thing I've ever been a part of, and I don't do that no more. I'm a former hoe. I'm not a current hoe no more. I'm not a hoe no more. But back in the day, this how slick women are. You know when they be like, men cheat more than women? That's debatable. We get caught more than women do. Yeah. Now, I don't know the statistics, but I imagine women. The reason why, this one woman that I was kicking it with at the hospital, she had a...
Like when you say kicking, you talking about knocking boots.
Kicking it with. Yeah. She was so slick, she sent me the grocery list of what she needed because she was going to tell her man she was going to the store. So she had about a good 40 minutes of being at the store. So she gave me the grocery list so I can get what's needed at the store. She came to my crib instead of the store, and she got the 40 minutes. She paid for the groceries though. I'm gonna need that grocery money. I'm gonna need that grocery more. I'm gonna need that grocery money. So I got the grocery money, but that's why yeah, that's true. That's true about the hospital. That's true. Unequivocally true.
Hey y'all, look at this fake ass bird, bro. This shit is not real. They're not even trying to make this shit look real no more. That bitch got the tag on the leg. How I'm getting this close to the bird? The bird look like plastic. This ain't no real bird, bro. This shit probably got cameras all in that bitch. This shit probably scanning out. It be fake as hell, bro.
You know the comb thing with cats? How like you go to the cat?
Oh, I didn't. No,
it like throws up.
Really?
Yeah. If you take a comb, like all cat owners try this shit. Like if you take a comb and go, you'll see cats immediately they wanna
really?
They wanna like throw up. They get nauseous because of it.
Damn.
And there's certain frequencies. Like there's a sound. I think it's an ancient Egyptian sound. They play for cats as well.
Yeah.
The moment you play it for the cat, these cats start standing on their hind legs, and then it says what happens is the cats are reminded because of the sound that they were praised in Egyptian time.
Oh yeah. There's like a troll.
Yeah.
Remember you told me that?
But who knows? Because if you think about it, like there's a lot of spiritual things with cats already. And you know that theory how like if cats like you, that means like
you're actually blessed.
Yeah. It means they take away your your negative energy. That's what they're trying to do. And that's why witches always have cats with them.
Yeah.
So cats already have some like spiritual significance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's why it's interesting that ancient Egyptians, the most almost spiritually based civilization that we study, is kind of based on. They have a fucking giant cat in the desert, right?
Okay, there was a guy I knew who was a big time drug dealer, pushing mad weight. He was one of the biggest in New York City, and he was telling us, me and my boy and shit, Artie Fuqua, he was telling us, you know, I ain't afraid of shit. I ain't afraid of nothing. He goes, but I went to China to make this deal with the mafia over there, the triads and shit. Yeah. And he goes, I'm talking to these dudes. And he goes, I ain't never been afraid of shit. But when I got into their like headquarters. They were so organized. It was scaring the shit out of me. They were so calm and so organized. They were sharp. And the guy, he's talking to the head dude, and he goes, and they're just having a small talk. He goes, you know, the one thing about black people, he says, you guys are, you're the trendsetters. Everybody copy black people. You're so creative. Your music, your style, everybody like black people. We're jealous of you. But the one thing you don't have is unity. Very easy to break you up. Wow. And this is in the drug game. He says we don't even lie though. He says we can't even organize crime.
Do you guys think he's right?
What do you call a soldier with no legs? Army. Knock knock. The dwarf who couldn't reach the doorbell.
Creator dropped a truth bomb.
What people consistently underestimate today is how the nature of mass media has transformed society. 10 people control 90% of everything you see, read, and hear in this country. 10 people. Who are those 10 people? Well, you can look them up. They're not hard to find. That, in and of itself, is problematic. When you consider that these 10 people all need permission from the U.S. government in order to have licenses, in order to buy other corporations, in order to do all the nefarious things they like to do, then you really understand what state-run media is. If Martin Luther King were alive today and he were in his 20s, nobody would know who he was because he would never get on TV. That's the difference between 2003 and 1953 or 1963. We live in a completely different era where information is more tightly controlled than it has ever been in the history of this country.
The Boondock.
What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
If you read every ancient text, whatever religion, the Nag Hammadi, the Torah, the Bhagavad Gita, including the Bible, the New Testament, the Old Testament, even the forbidden books of the Bible, like the book of Timothy and Thomas and Judas, the most common phrase ever repeated in all of those texts, do not fear. In every single ancient religious text is fear not or do not fear or some variation of that. Funny enough, the King James Version of the Bible says, do not fear 365 times. Fear is the opposite of love. Almost all spiritual teachings teach that we only really have two basic emotions as humans. We have love and we have fear. And I think having a good life is getting out of that fear area and getting into like, how can I just be open-hearted all the time and just loving what's going on and be more in the love part.
We are starting to see how dangerous women are. Lesbian relationships have the highest rate of domestic violence. Lesbian relationships have the highest rate of divorce. One thing I can't stand is how women try to paint men as these dangerous predators that do nothing but harm women. Do you guys remember when women said they would pick a bear instead of a man in the woods? Who remembers that? It's no wonder that men are just fed up with modern women. Misandry is everywhere in modern society. With the result of recent studies, the creation of social media, and women's never-ending need to post everything online, we are starting to see how dangerous women are, especially to other women. 70% of one-way violence is perpetrated from women to men. 75% of abuse towards children and the elderly is perpetrated by women. Lesbian relationships have the highest rate of domestic violence. Lesbian relationships have the highest rate of divorce. Nowhere can the dysfunction between women be seen more, though, but in women's sports. There are many cases of WNBA players involved in violence against their girlfriends and wives. These stories are not pushed hard in the media because they are women. So on today's show, we are going to look at some of the most prevalent cases in the media.
People can manifest their dream life through your energy. Yes, you heard that right. This is why us spiritual people say be careful who you get energetically entwined with. Be careful who you have sex with. This is where you get soul ties, parasitic ties, soul bonding trauma. Not all of us are equally yoked. So some of you in the spiritual community will be born with a more golden light to you. You will be somebody who manifests very easily. But unfortunately, as the golden light that you are, you're kind of shining in a very dark room. And these parasitic entities that usually possess a lot of humans, let's be honest here, They sense your power and they want a taste of that. There are a lot of selfish people surrounding us as well. So that means when you go out and you mingle, you try to have a romantic partner. If you choose the wrong romantic partner, that partner can manifest through your sacral chakra energy, through your sexual energy, because your sexual energy is your creative force. I've had a lot of clients come to me in the past talking about how their life fell apart after they got involved with this specific person who usually is cluster B personality, typically a narcissist. And they feel like they're not grounded after that relationship. They feel like they can't manifest. It's because that person took your energy from you. They siphoned your energy because you kind of gave them access. So this video is just a warning to have discernment about whose energy you get yourself involved with, because it's very hard to cleanse yourself of that energy if that person has attached to you for too long. The sacral chakra energy for both men and women, if you carry that golden light, it is extremely potent. I want you to understand the severity of this. The ones that rule this society and who do these rituals constantly, they specifically target people like you. There was such an initiative called the Starfire Initiative, I believe, in which these small groups of very powerful people would find women who have that starfire quality, aka a huge manifestation quality, abuse them, do ritualistic things to them, siphon their energy, and then manifest through that energy. If you are a target of these parasitic entities, you have to understand that this is not a coincidence. You are their food source. So it's time to be very selective of who you shake hands with, who you hug, who you get involved with romantically. So in that, you can protect yourself better.
Listen to me carefully. Men are in love, women are in business. In other words, men are actually looking for love. They're looking for someone to settle down with. Not all, but a lot. And women, not all, but a lot. So hear me carefully before y'all try to drag me saying I'm not that type of woman, I'm not the type of man. But if you're not, there's still others who are. Women are looking for men who maybe they're not in love with, but they can get in business with. Tune in. Men in this generation, a lot are chasing men who got what? Who got the money and got clout. Do you really believe Bill Belichick would have a 24-year-old girlfriend if he didn't have money? If he wasn't an NFL head coach for as long as he was, and now a coach at a college, D1 college, you don't believe he was able to bag a 24-year-old girl because he got money and he got clout behind his name? He's like 70-something. Come on, y'all. You don't think people like Drake, Future, Chris Brown can bag these young women because of why? Women are chasing the bag. They're chasing where the money is. Niggas like that got money. So fellas, if you're wondering why you can't get the girl you really want, get your bread up. Simple as that. She gonna come chasing you.
I'm not even gonna say anything. Just listen.
A majority of Gen Z have an unfavorable impression of Israel. And my friends, I think the reason for that is that we're losing the digital war. Okay, they're getting their information from TikTok and whatever it is, and we're losing that war. When you think about it, the masters of the universe are Jews. You know, we've got Altman and AI, we got Zuckerberg, we got Sergey Brin, we got the whole group across the board. Jan Combs, founded WhatsApp. It's us. And we have to figure out a way to win the digital battle. Amelia, we got to get our digital sneakers on so that the truth can prevail over the lies. And when we do that, the future of Israel will be stronger because a majority of all Americans will support Israel. We'll make that happen. We have to make it happen. Thank you. Baruch Hashem. Thank you.
I'm an actor and I have a warning for those who believe everything you see on TikTok. There are companies literally auditioning and hiring actors to portray lives on TikTok that you think are real, but are really just people given like scripts and scenarios to perform, put online for these companies. So basically, everything you're seeing, it could be a lie. I auditioned for one a while back. It was an experiment, a social experiment they said they were doing. They give you like a different name and like a backstory and all kinds of like topics and like dilemmas that you were gonna post about. And there were going to be like multiple people in this situation. So they're hiring other actors who are going to interact with this character. It was going to be basically like a whole universe. But it was all fake. It was all interconnected and fake. It's like you could not tell anyone in your life that that was you. You had to like deny it. If people are like, aren't you like, but no, you gotta deny it. So if there's like something on TikTok or someone that you see, they're like, this cannot be real. It really could be fake.
China is seriously going balls to the wall with AI. They are now keeping their servers under freaking water. China's newest underwater data center uses the ocean as its natural cooling system, eliminating the massive energy costs that are holding back AI development in the West. While Microsoft gave up on their underwater experiment despite technical success, China's subsea computing cluster near Hainan is fully operational and rapidly expanding. One underwater module delivers computing power equivalent to 30,000 high-end gaming PCs running simultaneously, capable of powering 8,000 DeepSeek AI conversations per second. Why does this matter? China's underwater approach solves the biggest problem in AI cooling. Servers generate enormous heat, but by submerging them, Shenzhen High Cloud Technology eliminated costly air conditioning systems that drain both power and profits. Microsoft abandoned their Project Natick despite servers failing 8 times less than traditional ones, claiming it wasn't practical for their needs. Meanwhile, China is doubling down, planning 100 underwater modules that will save 122 million kilowatt hours annually. While American companies waste billions on cooling costs, China's underwater AI factories are delivering more computing power with a fraction of the energy consumption, making AI faster, cheaper, and more accessible. Will America's tech giants wake up before China's underwater advantage becomes permanent?
Why the world's old banking system is falling apart and a new system is being built, and the spiritual reason why it's happening. If you're spiritual or you just got into spirituality, you have heard the phrase, Earth is going through an ascension period. That's just a new age term for saying that the majority of the Earth's population's consciousness is upgrading. With all this new talks about quantum physics, how the universe is holographic, how everything is like a quantum system, we as humanity are stepping into a whole new paradigm of completely different science, completely different way of living. And that is why the old financial system is collapsing, and it has to collapse. If you look at the word currency, it's like a current, it's like electricity. That's what money is. Money is an energy, it's a currency. That's why with the old banking systems, on all the dollar bills, you have this. This is actually a sigil. And if you understand occult, the esoteric, or even witchcraft, a sigil is a symbol that carries energy with it. So when you're holding paper money, you're actually holding energy. But because this is a sigil and it carries energy and it's a symbol for something, it can actually cause limitations in terms of your income. Have you noticed that mostly all cash businesses don't make as much money as the multi-millionaire, billionaire corporations that tend to do quantum banking? And by quantum banking, I mean having bank accounts with just a surplus of numbers. There's no limit as to how many numbers you can have. Numbers are an infinite potential, whereas cash money, especially cash money with sigils on it, has a limitation. There are only so many trees available that you can cut down and make into money. That's why the physical currency, which used to be what we used, is now turning into actual electric currency that's run in computers and quantum computers as well. Especially now with cryptocurrency, it's a very good gateway to help most of the populace gain more money than they would have in the past with just physical currency. Also, now is a really, really good time to invest in gold, silver, or copper because the quantum computing system is actually coming to existence and is going to be mainstream in the next 5-10 years. You need precious metals to build computers. So it's actually very good for your future investment to invest or buy in gold, silver, copper. We are shifting into a new paradigm and financial systems are going to change drastically. So get used to not using paper money or coins anymore. Because I suspect in the next 5, probably less than 10 years, everybody is going to be paying through their phone, online, fingerprints, eye scans, face scans, whatever. The future is now quantum.
A whale's vagina, which reminds me, Kim Kardashian's here. She's had a lot of black men celebrate in her end zone. Kim, word of advice, close your legs. You have more public beef than Kendrick and Drake. Thank you, guys.
All right, you guys. Libyan woman and Tunisian woman are being accused, widows. And anyway, so there's this horrible culture that is happening in Libya and Tunisia, or it seems like the Arab community, whereby when a woman's husband passed away, or if a man leaves the woman, no one else wants to marry that woman, right? So in return, what these women are doing, because of the migration, they're hunting black men out the streets, kidnapping them in homes with their guns, and arring these men for weeks straight. Touching these men, sometimes it can be one woman doing it, it can be two women in the house, touching one man for one, like kidnapping them, dealing with them for a week straight, to the point that they stop when they peen, all they peen is blood, then they let them go in the street. And then one thing they're also using against these men is, some of these women, they'll tell them, if you don't come in my home and do whatever it is that I want, I'm gonna scream and tell them that you try to rape me. And every time these women do that, the black man gets executed. Alright, so obviously there's a huge problem in the Arab community against women, it seems like, obviously. So I don't understand how, when a woman's husband passed away, nobody wants to marry that woman. But anyway, Arab women, y'all need to get up and fight for your rights, because I don't know what's going on. And leave our black men alone. Like, leave our black men alone. And you know what, any black man that this was happened to you before, please contact me. We're gonna do a story time and expose all this information. So any black man that an Arab woman kidnapped you in a home and did something to you, please send me a message, and we're gonna have to expose that details too. We're gonna talk about it.
When God chooses you to be the generational curse breaker in your family, to be the person that he chose to rewrite the story for generations coming after, there will come a time where you will have to separate yourself from said family, because the work that he's doing in you, they don't understand, because the work that he's tasked you with, they are in opposition to. If they would have been able to do it, it would have been done by now. And holding people in such close quarters that are not aligned with your direction and purpose for life will only slow you down. It's like if you have a horse trying to drive forward, but the cart that it's pulling has daggers in the ground. It's slowing you down, because one thing is meant to stay stationary and the horse is meant to pull forward. And it's a difficult thing, because it's family. You love your family. You have connections with the people that brought you into the world, that you grew up with, that you've always known. It's normal. But to accomplish the things that God has given you to accomplish, you will have to remain set apart, even when it feels like you're by yourself. Even when it feels like you don't have anyone in your corner, even when it feels like you're fighting the battle alone, you have to know that God is fighting with you. And at the end of the day, that is all you will need.
Easy. We've come to the end of the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm not in the mood today, man. I just feel some type of way. So yeah, subscribe. Adios amigos. Bye.